Welcome back to the Fast API Survival series. This is sheet number 5 and we're talking about middleware and events. So if your app just came alive, it probably wants logs and startup hooks. Our scenario today, your app just achieved sentience, it wants logs and startup events. Now even if your app did not achieve sentience, you need a way to give your app a voice. Teach it how to log, to boot, to shut down like a pro. The key takeaway from this sheet is that your app lifecycle has superpowers. So we can run code before after requests, we can hook into startup and shutdown events, and we can clean up, connect, log, or launch services. With middleware, what happens is your app wraps logic around every request. With events, it behaves like a system, not just a server. So let's see how this works by actually doing the example. So let's jump right into it. The first thing we need to do is import what we need. So we say from FastAPI, we'll import FastAPI and request. Now we need FastAPI and request so we can access things like our HTTP method, path, and status inside the middleware. Next step we need to do is create our app. So we say app is equal to FastAPI. Right, this just sets our FastAPI instance. Now we need to actually add some middleware. So we'll say app.middleware HTTP. And we'll do an async def log request. Right? You do a log request function and we'll say request is equal to request and call next. I'll explain what all this means in a bit. Just try to follow along for now. We'll do print. We'll do an string request. And we'll say request method. And we'll also say request URL. We'll say response is equal to await. We'll say call next request. Right, and we'll print our response status. So we'll say reprint, we do an string, or we'll say response status. As our response, right, that's status code. And then we'll return our response. So this code is doing a lot, but this is where the magic happens, right? What we're doing is we are logging the request method and the URL before it's processed, before processing, and then we are logging the response after. So think about it like a camera, like a security camera that records every request that comes in and out, right? It's kind of a camera in our code. Next thing to do is add a startup event. So we'll say app on event, which is startup. We'll say async def and startup, and we'll actually print app is starting up on our startup. Right, so when we start up our app, we have a startup event, and this runs once. So when the apps boots, and this is perfect for things like when doing database connections. Think about if we start in schedulers, we're doing a cache prep, or we just letting the logs say hello. Maybe we just want to feel lonely and want our logs to talk to us, right? The next thing we need to do is we need to add a shutdown event. So we say app.on event, and this will be a shutdown event this time. So we say shutdown, and we do a async. This as async. We say def, and we say on shutdown. Right, and what we'll do is we'll print, and we'll print app is shutting down. Right, so we're shutting down our app. And what we also want to do is, so this is for like when you close in database connection. So on startup, you want to open a connection, shut down, you want to close it. Maybe you want to clean up memory. Maybe you want to log out users, or we syncing, some sort of write operations that we're doing. And we also want to get a test route where we could see everything happening. So let's use home as the test route. So we say app.get, and we just get the home route, right? Get home, and our home function, and what we'll do, let's return some JSON. We'll say message, and we'll say elevate fast running. Right, so this is our thing. We might have some errors here, something I didn't spot. So let's see if we go on. We do main, right, up, and we'll do read. Okay, seems like everything is good. So in the terminal, we see our app is starting up. Right, actually had double the A. Right, so app is starting up. Now if we let's go to the browser, and in the browser, let's go to localhost. We see our message, Elevate running, and if we look in the logs, we see the request, get HTTP localhost, and we see the response status. Right, if we press, now we have to press Control C, and we see our app is shutting down. So our life cycle is complete. Our app now speaks. It can say when it's starting up, when it's shutting down, can give events, can do a lot of stuff. So we learned a lot in this video. We learned how to use middleware to log or modify, every request and response. We learned to use startup hooks to prep the system. We learned to use shutdown hooks to clean up safely. And this sheet really makes the API feel like a system, not just a script. This is where you're going from script type to systems way of thinking. And it's aware, it breathes, it logs. And now it's ready for production. Not quite, but this is a step towards being ready for production, right? So this is our wrap on sheet number 5 on middleware and events. And next up, we start to look at some more stuff. If you want the full survival sheet bundle, the video walkthroughs, the cheat sheet PDFs, check out ElevateFast.dev. Get all this information. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.